if you can communicate well with your host family and you set expectations well right from the beginning in both directions, it's going to make your year so much better.
Hello everyone, this is Rebekka. Today I'm going to interview my host family. 3 years ago, they interviewed me to become their au pair. And 2 years ago, we started working together, we started living together. And 3 years later, here we are. We're still together, living together, but not much longer because this week is going to be my last work week. That's why I decided to interview Sean and Katie, and they agreed. We're just going to talk a little bit about our past experience, and they're going to talk about their experience about having au pairs, hosting exchange students, and that might bring you value, that might help you if that's something that you are interested in. So let's start with you guys. Who are you? How many au pairs, exchange students have you been hosting?
Well, I'm Sean, this is my wife Katie, and we have hosted one foreign exchange student back in 2014, and then we've been hosting au pairs since Henry was born in 2015, and Becky is our 6th au pair.
Yep. We have hosted it from 4 different countries: Italy, South Africa, Austria, and Germany. And my name is Katie.
So 3 years ago, we had our first FaceTime call. And they asked me a very, very serious question, which I was not very prepared for. But I'm going to ask the same question 3 years later because I have never asked you this question, I think.
Okay.
And you probably, I don't know, it's very impressive if you know which question I actually mean.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
I'm thinking of 3 of them, actually.
Which one is it?
Which Disney character are you?
Yeah.
And why?
And why?
Exactly.
I actually don't have an answer to that one, though, for
What?
myself.
We've been asking that in interviews, and you don't have an answer for yourself?
There's so many I can't choose.
Okay, well, just pick one. Or
yours, so go ahead.
I'll answer first. So I would say that my favorite Disney character is Alice from Alice in Wonderland because I think she is always ready for adventure and open to new experiences. So I love that about hosting and the cultural exchange. And I love just being able to see that in Becky and being able to kind of help that keep us young.
And I don't have an answer that's perfect, so we'll just say there's just so many I like, I can't pick.
What about heroes?
Do
you have any favorite heroes or something?
Superheroes?
No?
You're not Captain America?
No.
He was as much prepared as I was 3 years ago. Anyways, all right, so since I'm going to be the last au pair, and it's going to be my last...
What's your answer, though? What is your answer?
3 years later, I still don't have an answer.
I think you said Minnie Mouse. Was that your... Or you liked Cinderella?
No, it was Belle.
Belle. Oh, yes.
Yes. It was my princess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a great one.
All right, so since I'm going to be the last au pair and for a while... How is life going to look like for you? I mean, I think that's going to be a big change for you too. Not having someone in the house, or you're not just having someone who's living here. So how is it going to look like for you?
Well, the food bill will be a lot lower.
Well, she did point on something though for a little while. So we're giving up right now, but it's not outside of the realm of possibility that someday we might go. We're so used to hosting, we may have a hard time getting used to our new way of life. So who knows? That may be that we go back to hosting a foreign exchange student, and Henry gets to have a big brother like that. I don't know what the future holds, but this next year will be a transition for us. So. Just like I think that with au pairs, when they go back and they have a transition where they have reverse culture shock, we may have some reverse culture shock for us. So we may have to kind of get used to, our house being a little bit quieter and a little bit more less laughter. But we certainly, I think it'll just be new. Any thoughts on that?
Well, we're not completely leaving the program. Actually, we are taking over the role as LCCs for our area. So for the other au pairs here in Upper Cumberland, Tennessee, then we will be their point of contact and be still continuing to have that cultural exchange and be a reference point for those families and the au pairs.
I think that'll be a good way for us to transition slowly.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. I think also since you have so many experience, you have like so much to share, and like to it's going to be easier for you to help because you were already there.
Yeah.
And you might have gone through the problems
Sure.
that other families would have.
Yeah, and we'll maybe be able to have some other au pairs out on the boat and be able to teach them how to surf and things like that. So, but you're irreplaceable, so.
Aww. All right, so the next question would be, what has been your favorite memory in the last 2 years?
I think all of us going to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And I think seeing it through your eyes for the first time, and Henry's, both of you having never been before, was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that was really special. And I feel like when you go on a trip together, that can really kind of cement you as a family, because I feel like that's when you really have time away from work and just to be able to be together. And sometimes in some families it brings out the worst, but I feel like with our family it really brought out the best in all of us. And it was a very tiring week for sure. But it definitely was just very enjoyable. And hearing you scream on Soaring, that was awesome.
Henry was 4 and he did better on it.
Not used to it, okay?
Yeah.
Well, actually, that happened every day.
Yeah.
I think some of the smaller memories, though, are some of the ones that I will treasure, though, is that, I feel like with a cultural exchange, sometimes we focus on how we're going to present, like, welcome to America, and, like, here's Walmart, and different things that we just, as our everyday lives that we share. But I really like how we've learned from Becky as far as really taking the time to make just this, just the moments, the minor celebrations special. So the way that she's just really given to our family as far as celebrating Mother's Day or Father's Day or birthdays, and just her sharing how her family celebrates holidays and just giving that to us. I just think it's just really, just very sweet. That's the best word I can describe it, and just so heartfelt that she really just takes the time to just really think of very sweet ways to help Henry, give love to us. And so I just think that's just one of my favorite memories from Becky, is just how she really put her heart into those holidays and just events, just to help us celebrate those milestones. So
And I don't know who I'm gonna scare every time I walk around the corner now.
Well, maybe you should be concerned. All right, so what has been the biggest lesson that you have learned by hosting au pairs?
I think that conflict resolution, I think that it's really been great to see how hosting has helped me with my work life too. I'm a pharmacy manager, and so I have a pharmacy staff, and so I feel like what I learned from how I interact with those that report to me, I bring that to our with hosting, and then what I learned from hosting, I also bring back to work, and so it goes back and forth. And I feel that really just misunderstandings are sometimes just a lack of communication and a lack of clear communication, and it's just so easy to get upset when really just to go back to, okay, different expectations and just working on better communication. And sometimes in the beginning, I think it was more frustrating for us, where we would just, like, when we first started learning to host, like, well, why doesn't this other person see it the way that I see it? And just understanding that they bring a whole different set of perspectives. So I think now we are much more intentional about communicating, and we try to be much more open to discussing it when the communication doesn't match up the way we thought it was, and to just have a little bit more grace and a little bit more humor. So I think that has really helped us in hosting and helped us in life.
And not only have we had to be intentional with communication in general, but also specifically with how we parent. because it's not just us doing it, but it's us doing it and then modeling it for somebody else, and then showing them how we do it, and then them continuing it. And so we've had to be very intentional in what we do and how we do it, and then how we communicate that to her or to any of the previous au pairs, so that they also will parent in a similar way that we do.
Consistency.
Yeah.
It's made us be more consistent.
Yeah.
And showed us when we weren't. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So that brings value to our parenting, for us to be better and stronger parents because of it. So yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so the next question is going to be, what are you going to miss the most about having au pairs in the house?
I'd say it's all the extra fun that it brings to having an au pair in the house. You know, it's a younger energy than what we have. And obviously the flexibility too of childcare will be missed a lot. Now we're going to have to scramble to find babysitters for date nights instead of, hey, you're scheduled.
When you were saying the youth they bring, but I was also thinking about how many times it's been 10 o'clock at night on Black Friday, well, actually on Thanksgiving, and I'm saying, look, I'm taking you shopping, and you're whining right now, and you don't understand why I'm dragging you out of the house at 10:30 at night, but I promise you, it will be worth it. Well, I'm just going to do it for an hour or two. Okay. And then you get to Starbucks, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're having coffee, and the au pair is saying, but can we keep going? And it's like, aha, see? You knew it. So anyway, yes, I love that tradition to also kind of surprise the au pairs by ever so often, I don't have that much energy to do it, but at least a few times a year, kind of out-younging them. That's the wrong phrase. Yeah. Being like, let's do this. We can stay up a little bit longer. It's worth it for the deals.
I want to point out that Henry and I are sleeping soundly through all of that.
Yes. So I don't think that's going to be something I'm going to be dragging Henry to, is Black Friday shopping. So maybe that's a good thing that we'll be continuing with LCC, so that I can drag other people shopping with me, since you don't want to participate.
You're going to be the one.
Won't be me.
I just come back for Black Friday, and then we'll do it again.
Yeah. Yep. I like it.
Are you planning to have any other future au pairs, and if so, what kind of qualities are you looking for?
Oh, it's hard to answer, because I think we'll just kind of reevaluate our situation each year going forward as to whether or not we would decide to host again. And I could see ourselves potentially doing it again in the future. But I think as far as what we would be looking for, it'll depend a lot on what age Henry is at that point that we decided to host again, and what he would need the most out of an au pair at that time. And that's what we would look for.
Yeah. I think that as Henry gets older, I mean, he's 6 now, and as he gets busier and our life changes, I think that that might be something we definitely look for. Maybe even like a foreign exchange student too. But I think we'll definitely probably be leaning more toward being more open to like bro pairs at that point. We haven't hosted a bro pair yet, and that's definitely on the table for us in the future. I think that that youthfulness that we're going to be looking for will still be something that we continue to look for. And it might be nice to be able to try a different country that we haven't hosted from yet. So,
well, I hope you're going to find the one when it's time. If it's not time, then I'll come back. All right, so the last question is going to be, what advice would you give to a current au pair or to a future au pair? Like, what kind of encouragement would you give them?
It's all about communication and managing expectations. If you can communicate well with your host family, and you set expectations well right from the beginning in both directions, it's going to make your year so much better.
Yeah. And I think being open to feedback. Sometimes what we've seen is that it can be really hard to receive feedback, because if you feel like you're doing really well and then somebody else has a different opinion, you can get your feelings hurt. And so, again, kind of looking at that everybody's got a different perspective. So being open to feedback and receiving that feedback and not letting your emotions take over afterwards. So I would say just really being open to feedback, and host families too, because sometimes I feel like the au pairs get the message of, we don't like the host family doesn't like you doing it this way, so we need you to switch it to this way. Just don't get your feelings hurt. But as a host family, there are times when we really handle something a different way than what we should have, and so for the au pair to have the comfort level to be able to communicate that of, hey, can we talk about this again? And this is how it made me feel, and I don't know if you were meaning it that way. And so it really has to be a two-way street.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, talking about expectations and being willing to receive feedback.
Yeah.
Without taking it personal.
Being open to try new things too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you're in a new country, a new town, new family. Try whatever is offered in front of you, whether it's a new food or a new experience or a new place to visit. Don't say no to the new experiences.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes, if the host family asks you if you want to come visit grandma, it may not be the most interesting trip that you would want to plan to do, especially if it's like some time off where you get to choose if you're going to go on the trip or not. But you may learn something more about your host family's extended family, and there's probably going to be some fun along the way.
And some good food. And cookies.
And you might learn how to use a rotary phone.
Wow. Yes, that too. All right. Well, thank you so much, Katie and Sean. I'm so glad that I could spend those 2 years with you, and it was such an honor. And I can't wait to watch this video like 20 years later. Thank you also so much for watching. I hope that helped. And if you have any other questions when it comes to hosting or when it comes to becoming an au pair, you're welcome to contact us or write in the comments, and we're welcome to help you. I'll see you soon. Bye.